Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream. I'm happy to have you here, and hopefully your week went as well as it could have gone. And yeah, weekend is upon us. So as usual, I like to start with an update from some of the stuff that I've done this week. Hey, Atlantica, happy Saturday, happy Saturday. So yeah, let's get into it. So there's a few things that I was trying to focus over the week. Refinements around the AI, stealth takedown, and uh, kind of just some niceties to be added. So let's take a look at some of them. Let's jump into game mode here. Oh, actually, didn't click. There we go. Okay. The first thing, and hopefully the audio is coming in. Let me turn off this announcer so we don't get interrupted. Let's see. So I'm just not gonna uncheck repeat on that. But okay, let's take a look. So first thing that I did was especially when the player is sprinting, I wanted to give a little bit of indication that there's like an effort, right? So right now when you're walking, there's nothing, there's you're just walking. But once you start sprinting, and hopefully you can hear this over the environment sound. So let me know if you can hear it. So hopefully you're able to hear that kind of just panting, like from running. So what happens is after about 5 seconds, like the volume goes up, and then once you stop running, sprinting basically, the volume starts going down. So that was one thing. Another thing that I was working on implementing is actually the weapons to trigger the enemies. So let's pick up one of these guys. Oh, and once you pick up an item, this is another thing that I've added. You'll see like a little bit of a change. So when you pick something up, there's like a little bit of an animation going on with kind of just like grabbing something. Um, so it kind of grabs it at the moment that the hand kind of hovers or goes over the item. All right, so this is something that I need to fix with these like interactions. They don't go away like the text. All right, so let me equip the weapon, and I'll show you what I mean. So right now, there's like a couple of guys out here, a couple of enemies. Currently, they're not doing anything. So right now, they're not seeing me either. But if I was to shoot, you'll see that they come. Whoops, that was a little loud. So they come to investigate, and so there's that guy, and he's gonna follow me until I kind of try to get rid of him. I suck at this. Whoops. Yep. It bested me, but yeah. So now they would react to sounds from your weapons over a certain radius. It's not like the entire map. Um, so they would come and investigate when they hear a sound, similar to how when you throw like a distractor object, they would go to investigate that. It works the same for like the weapons that are allowed, like the rifle or the pistol. The bow will not uh, get them to come and investigate, but these two other will. All right, so the other thing that I mentioned was kind of a stealth takedown. So that one. So if you approach one of the enemies from behind, you can just kind of grab them, and you'll take care of business. And kind of continuing on to this one, I just need to add like a little bit of a choking sound, so that they start kind of gargling like some kind of noise like that. And So now, they're just kind of ragdolling around. I decided to remove like the weapons that they have attached um, once you kill them. And yeah, so as you can see, like once you start running, like the panting is happening. Also, when you're in like a different mechanic, like for example, this one here, it sounds a little bit different than when you're running. It's like a more it's a different kind of effort, right? So you're not gonna be like huffing and puffing like during a run, but there's still effort involved. So yeah, once you start running, the little huffing and puffing starts happening again. So yeah, there we go. Those were the updates. Like I said, with the weapons. So when you whoops, yeah. So when you shoot one of the weapons, these guys I'm just gonna go into wireframe mode so we can hopefully see them. Actually, let's not be in the safe zone. So, oh, actually, I forgot I kind of killed him. Hey, Imran, welcome, welcome. All right, so let me try that again. All right, so we got the weapon, kind of just picking it up, equipping it. So if I was to, just kind of shoot, these guys are gonna um, get active and start coming after you. You see, like the detection meter is going down, but they're still gonna. Let me see now if I can go into here. So they're still gonna like right now. This guy is just investigating the area, and oh, he was able to find me. So this guy kind of heard noises and he's coming to investigate, and I think he's gonna be able to find me. Yeah, he did. Okay, now that time I was a little luckier. So yeah, so there you go. That's kind of how they react, and that's like my blood all over the wall back there. So that's how they react once you like the enemies. Once they hear a noise, they would like kind of go to investigate. Hey Imran, yeah, so I'm doing good. I'm doing good. This was I was just showing off some of the updates from this past week, and yeah. So there we go. Like I said, kind of just the pickup, just kind of this having a little bit of animation to signify that, and also to kind of give an idea of the delay between being able to pick up items. So you can't like just mash the interact button to pick up, 20 items in the span of 1 second, So I'm exaggerating, but you'd be able to like kind of, pick one item, pick another item, and having this animation is a little bit more um, of a way to tell the player that there's like an interaction happening. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, these guys are, once they're ragdollized, once they die, so there's no animation playing or specific one like, if the bullet is coming in from the left side, from the right side, or anything like that. It's just they they get a bit of an impulse and they go into ragdoll. And I need to clear out these detection uh, uh, graphics or indicators. Uh, I've I kind of cleared them out when when you go into the safe zone, but outside of that, they're still there. I think. Let's see if we can test it out. We're in the safe zone. No, I think these guys are dead, so these things got stuck to them. So I need to fix that. Okay, yes. So that's kind of the part from like the kind of the gameplay updates of things. So let's look a little bit of the world and some of the things that I've started working in there. So let's do, can save this one. Hey, Jesus y Canal, hopefully I said that right. It's 360 Ti enough for UE5. So right now, what I'm using is a 1070. So I think a 360 would be enough. Um, yeah, so I have a 1070 that is, I'm not sure, like 8 years old, something like that. One of those, pretty much like the first gen. Um, the friend that I got it from got it when it came out. So yeah, it's a pretty old card. So you should be fine with a 3060. And like Imran, he has a 3050, and um, so you should be totally fine with a 3060. And I think the TI is even like a better version, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, guys, so we are in this in kind of the main world over here. Let me see if I can. I think I just minimized a couple of things around here. Yeah, so what I did is, oh, yeah, yeah, no problem. So what I did is if you remember from last time, this area here was kind of in place somewhat, wasn't fully completed. I was just trying to brush things, kind of trying to get things, in place. So what I did is I kind of deleted those two houses that I had here. One, because it had a ton of draw calls, because while this package is from the same, these are from the same developer. So while this package is really well built because it's got a lot of similar pieces to build different looking buildings. The other package had a lot of like little corner pieces. So I can show you on a couple of these houses what I mean. And that just tags on to the draw call quite a lot. And let me see, maybe I can do an edit here. So see, like there's like a lot of, like shorter pieces, longer pieces, even shorter pieces, corners, and so that's why I wanted to kind of not, while these houses are great, I just didn't want to rely on them too much, especially, since they can bump up the draw calls quite a bit. Now, these units, they have a lot of the same ones being used. So I think there's like four or five in this whole thing that are being used. So I was doing a little bit better with that. And also I wanted to have like kind of a residential neighborhood area in here. And these are kind of just apartment buildings, duplexes, that kind of stuff, and townhouses, so to speak. And I felt like they fit a little bit better in this center portion of the town. And maybe I'll put a couple in here, kind of removing this house, and just have like the houses on the outside of it. So yeah, what I did is I was trying to work on this, and maybe let's see if we can do a daylight. Maybe we can see this a little bit better. Uh, so the one thing that I was kind of struggling with was the fact that I mentioned before that I do like elevation in games, and I don't like things to just be on a flat plane. And how do you make it so that it looks like from this section here, you can get up to here and not make it kind of weird, like just with a sloped sidewalk or something like that. So I was just thinking of creating something like this, where you have, these are like some Megascans assets, and this one's the same, and then kind of combined it with the sidewalk that I was showing you guys earlier. Um, and uh, and so that way I was able to create these kind of I'm not sure what you would call, like, elevated beds, right? So and that way I could like deal with the change in elevation between like where these buildings are placed to where these buildings are placed. And yeah, um, oh, the files from H1Z1. Oh, interesting. Uh, Yeah, I don't know how that'd be possible. I know. Um, hey, Scheme, I'm new tutorial, but isn't it possible to join all the pieces of the house into one mesh to reduce? Yeah, totally. And that's what I was playing around with as well. Uh, and now again, it depends, it heavily depends on the creator of this. And unfortunately, these were made with multiple UVs, which I just realized once I started doing that. So an example would be this house here. Let me see if I can move a little quicker. So this house here, and this is what it results in, you know, like this is one single mesh. So I used this one was made out of multiple pieces, and when I merged this together, this is what it resulted in, a bunch of messed up UVs. Because like I said, I believe the developer used a bunch like separate UV channels for separate building pieces and they just imported them into the engine. And um, yeah, the one thing about that is that if I was to turn this into this is a destructive process, right? So once you make it into this, this is what you end up with, and that's why I didn't like. But at the same time, it once you merge it, you're still gonna end up with like you see how many material slots I have here. Now for this house, it shouldn't have that many material slots, but that's what you would get when you uh, potentially you would get when you merge all of these into one. So the way I've been doing it is I've been creating these pack level actors. And let me see if I have an example. I was thinking I did. Maybe I don't. I, but once you pack all of these into a pack level actor, and this is why I'm saying, this package is much better done because it's got a better structure for like how many, like this one, for example, has an exaggerated amount of um, of materials, but it has all these single pieces that once you pack them into this pack level actor, all these are just going to be one draw call. And yeah, you're going to have these ones that are probably going to be separate, but in the end, it's still going to be pretty a lot better than what it was. Yeah, the best way I think is, for example, would probably be to merge all this exterior into one mesh. Um, the one thing that I also noticed on the marketplace, and I think I'm going to try this at one point, is like, see, I have all these level instances in my world. So on the marketplace, I saw there was this plugin that appeared that apparently would pack all the actors in the world, if possible, into uh, basically pack level actors, so it would like create instances of all of these. So if I was to break apart all these levels, you see like they're all made out of the same little, sidewall piece, this square. Also, like windows, they're all the same across all the buildings, the roofs. So if I break all these into pieces, into their individual pieces, and then run this plugin, what it should be doing in theory and what the description of it is, it should create all instances out of all of them. So I think at that point, the entire town could probably have 100 draw calls, 200 draw calls maybe at the most. So that is, I'm going to try and do that and see how that works. I think the from what I'm reading from that plugin, you might need to package the project. So I'm not sure if it would work in editor. But if I can test it out and see if it's like if it does this in a package project, then great. Because and that's why I wanted to use more of these types of buildings in here. Like in this area. Yeah, and I can't remember it. I think it came on the marketplace recently. So um, right now I think it's like $25, but I just have it bookmarked, so whenever it's on sale, I'll give it a try. But yeah, uh, and that's what I'm hoping for. Like and at the same time, the other way, if that if that plugin doesn't do it, I was thinking of just breaking all these levels, like all these like for the town area, like break them all into like if you right click on one of these, you can like go to level break and break level instances, and what it does, it just breaks that level instance into its components, what it's made out of. And if I break them all that way, and then select all these assets, and then create one pack level actor for the entire town, I'm thinking the result might be similar. So that's something that I need to try just to make sure. I think I might have mentioned this in the previous stream that I'm not entirely sure how HLODs work with, or if they even work properly. It seems like there's been quite a very few, or at least I haven't found any proper documentation on HLODs with level instances and word partition. I still haven't checked the city sample project. I need to spend a little bit more time in looking at because I think that one uses HLODs. But so once I figure something out on that end, I'll share it with you guys definitely. Um, all right. So that was kind of my spiel. So I'm just going to take you around this area for a little bit. Let's actually put the player in there so we can jump in and kind of walk around that area a little bit, just to show you what I did. I think from the player view might be a little bit better to see like kind of these back out these this kind of around the buildings in here. Yeah, so as I was mentioning, I was trying to work on these meshes so that or to adapt some of these Megascan meshes to um, to be able to create these slopes, like with stairs and kind of walking upstairs and such. So and it also resulted in some pretty good transition steps, kind of going into the houses. I think this one's a little bit off. But these steps going in there. Some of these steps, I'm not sure if the collisions. Oh, the collisions are working. Okay, so some of these steps going up the hill, which I think they work pretty good, and I've also made it so that the material is using this kind of like this projection so that I can change, since this is a scanned mesh, not all the UVs are like lined up to have a texture like brick placed on top of this. So right now the brick is projected onto this part of the mesh. So this mesh is only one draw call, there's only one material to it. And whatever's on top is from the original material, the original textures. And what's on the bottom is just a separate set of textures. So that's just being driven through a mask. And if you guys are interested in that, I can show you. It basically works just as the sidewalk does. Like I can put on this surface any material, and then the curb is added the original sidewalk. Yeah, so let's kind of go around the other side of the. I might need to turn down the the running, the huffing and puffing. It seems a little loud. Okay, so back here, just kind of the back of the houses. Let's just quickly go up here for a little bit. Um, yeah, so just a platform like we had before, with the still not fixed collision for for the guardrail. All right, and back here, again, just having some of these steps so we can reach a new level here, because I mean it's a populated, it's a inhabited town, right? So I was just trying to set up some of these things so that it looks like kind of an infrastructure. I wouldn't call it, I don't think this is called infrastructure necessarily, but like kind of like a building type of type of thing, right? So back here, kind of just the same way with this retaining wall that we can climb on top, and you know, some of the grass growing around here. Of course, there's like a little bit of a deck, um, just to signify that you know, there's an entrance. It doesn't necessarily need um, to be an enterable building, but and again over here, you know, just the same thing with the steps and these little. Um, uh, I'm not sure you would call corniche. I'm not sure. I think you might call this a corniche. I'm not sure what the term for that is, but then again, just having this break in here for you know kind of parking cars, and everybody's got the same car in this town. It's weird. I know I'm joking, but yeah. Hey, legends never die. I posted some stuff for you in Discord. Oh yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, guys. So I was thinking for the rest of the stream, after all these updates, I was gonna try and get you know these townhouses over here all set up pretty much with something similar that we have over on this side. You know, just some of these stairs. You know, kind of um, to help with like the transition between these elevations, and and you know, kind of hopefully getting a little bit of the backyard here all situated and like the sidewalk in front of these townhouses, maybe something on the side here. We'll probably, on this side, maybe we'll use the same building that we have here, just oriented a little bit differently. So we can have some kind of a back alley going on over here and maybe, you know, some parked and some of those things. Okay, so yeah, let's get to it. And Yeah, if one thing also that I was trying to do is I wanted to add this building here just to give a little bit of variety to these buildings. You know, sometimes, you know, buildings would have additions and things like that, and they were all kind of just the same type of rectangular shaped building. So I wanted to add a little bit more of a variety in there. You know, like this one has a little bit of a sloped roof on the top. You know, just this addition, this extra level, and yeah. So I wanted to try that as well, just so that you know, like the window's not on the same level. Maybe this is like a stairway or something back here, just trying to add a little bit more of a variety in there. All right. Well, so let's see how can we get with like the back alleys over here because we might want to have this be around at the street level. And speaking of street level, this is kind of how I've handled the slope and like an entrance to a garage, which is like on a flat surface. And and right now, these are just decals. So one decal, two decals, and let me select this one. And oh, come on. And then three decals. So that's pretty much how I made the transition. If anybody's interested um, into like a kind of this garage space or off the street type of thing. So pretty much the same will be done over here, but maybe with maybe not with something that's paved, but with like some dirt surface that we've done in town. So I'll just poach it from there and put it here. And the same way, just with decals. All right, so let's get kind of the terrain sculpted that's going like behind these over here. And then maybe we'll try and see if we need to position this a little bit better. We'll add some of these steps, kind of just going down the hill and see where that takes us. All right, let's get to it. So let's just do some flattening. I think I'm going to start at this point here and start by flattening this area. We'll probably try and smooth that out, see how it turns out. Oh, and that was actually kind of lucky that I managed to get it down right to the level where where the entrances are. All right, so let's see how far we can push this. We might need to push these buildings a little bit closer to the street. It's kind of getting a little tight back here. We'll see what we can do. All right, that's better. Let's kind of just get it up to about there for the front of the buildings. This is getting a little tall over here on this corner. We'll see how we can get that done. And that's also why I wanted to have some of these, because these can hide these kind of slopes that you can't really resolve properly. So um, these little steps and this kind of setup can help that, I think, pretty well. At least for me, it works out pretty good. All right, so we flattened the terrain around these over here. Could we even bring them even lower? We might be able to. I'm trying to see in front if it might be a little bit if they might be a little too high. So I think they might be. Let's try and get them a little lower. That might that might be a little bit more manageable, I think. Because on the back side, might work out easier, but on this front, I'm not sure how good that's gonna work. So let's see. Yeah, so this one can have a slope off the street going down, but in the front, it might make it a little bit more difficult. And it actually looks like, oh, this is good. I actually sculpted down to the point where I previously had these spaces back here. So that's actually good. It's always good to kind of have find what some of the work that you've done before and still have that be useful. Okay, I think that might be a little bit better. Let's see how we can do the and over there. That's pretty good. So that's gonna slope in here. Let's try and insert a ramp back here. We'll see how this one turns out. Okay, that's pretty good if it wasn't a ramp. It's not quite a ramp yet. Okay, that's a little bit better. And let's see if I was to sculpt the terrain based on this road. Hopefully it's not gonna mess this up too much. I don't think it will. There he goes. Okay, that's actually good. All right. And I might push this over a little bit that way. Okay. So let me grab a couple of these pieces from here. And see how that might look. Whoa, where did you go there? That was kind of weird. All right, so I'm going to try and place this next to the buildings. And this one, does this one have a weird, yeah, -90. Had a little bit of a funky rotation there. Let's grab these pieces again. And try and bring them closer to this. And that's actually a little bit, I don't think that's actually what I really wanted it to be like, because I wanted the back entrance to be on this level. So let's see how we can address that. I'm probably going to use the same thing with this foundation. Let's try this out. So kind of using this foundation over here. You bring it a little lower. So also what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this sidewalk. Let's see, I'm just going to try and group it for now. So I'm trying to get this to be somewhere at the level where this kind of driveway, I wouldn't call it driveway, but like this little ramp is at. So somewhat right there. Let's see, like that. So that way, if I'm going to use again some of these decals, what I'm trying to do is, and hopefully it will make a little bit more sense once I place this in here. See, 180, that's good. And that. All right, let's try and place these. Where's my other one? This one here. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do is have this sidewalk kind of level with the at least as much as possible with the driveway that goes back here. Now the only thing is that this driveway is really kind of eating up into this. So I'm gonna try and make a little bit more space for it. So let's see how this is gonna turn out. Let's try and remove some of this vegetation back here. Where is it? Paint. All right, kind of like that. That's a little bit closer. So there we go. That's a little bit of a kind of an entrance to this kind of back alley. Maybe I'll just remove these now that I'm looking at them. Maybe they don't really fit in so well. Just gonna put them all the way on that corner there. All right, so now since I use this quite a bit, just gonna make use of it. Come on, I'm always like kind of having a hard time figuring out which one I selected. So I'm just gonna use this back here. That's about where I think I might want that to be. The front still looks pretty good. And this one, I might not use it this way. So let me break this up. So on group, let me try and make a quick change over here. And so there's that like there. And this one over here. Come on. Yeah, so this is what I was thinking of doing like that. And let's also use this piece here to create the edging for it. All right, and let's see. There's that. Almost there. Let's try and gonna try and make this one a little bit bigger so that it hides this little lip here. All right, almost there. I think it could be even a little bit bigger. There we go. And then this one ends up over here, and we're gonna make another piece for this side. All right, let's see. I think we might need one more instance. Two more. There we go. A little bit better. So kind of that's what I was trying to do with this, just to get kind of these corners for these, on an uneven terrain, have um, these what is a flat section basically kind of work together with this uneven terrain. All right, since I'm here, let's just clean that up a little bit. And this one, actually, let me pull it back a little bit because there is a part of this modular package, there is a mesh that has this. So let's try and place it here. Hey, Gitish, welcome, welcome. Oh, it's going pretty good. There's work being done. Always. All right, so let's try and use this here as I can't remember what's it's two, but I need to make this a little bit bigger to about there. And just put it like here on the corner. There we go. So now we can, as I was mentioning, we can override this material with what I have here, just kind of keeping it along um, consistent. I do have some sections that are different, but um, I don't want them all to be like the same. So here, I'm gonna try and where's the override? Get this one like that. This one, and then where's this one? Here. All right, so there we go. We have a little bit of, um, hmm, though now that I'm looking at it, this is the same material with this, so they're kind of, I might just keep it like this for now. Yeah, let's just keep it that way. You know what? So I went through the process, like the claiming process that they have when you go to their site. I don't know if it works. I think Fab is still pretty broken. So I think they're still working on it. As I mentioned before, it's one of those things that they push it out, I think, a little too soon. But I am uh, somewhat excited about it. I mean, the one thing that really bothers me is that you can't see reviews anymore, or comments or questions on products on the marketplace, which was like the main thing that was helping me decide whether I want to buy this thing or not. So luckily, there are a few developers that I know their products are good, though even with their products, they still have a few misses here and there. Like people, uh, hey, Scheme goes, yeah, yeah, totally. So what I was saying was that um, there are even those developers that do have great products, they've had a few misses on some of them, and before moving, before Fab, people were asking questions and they never got replies. And some developers had really good reviews, but with no replies to questions. So that is kind of a little bit of a, not, it doesn't make me confident in that product, if you know what I mean. Like, because, you know, I could have 10 friends buy my product, maybe I'll give them the money back or something like that. But so I have transactions through that, and they can post a review, like an actual review, and like the product is great, but maybe it isn't. Hopefully that makes sense, my short rambling there, but that is one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, you know. Oh, that's good. That's good. I think, I think there was enough people that complained about it, and hopefully that changed their mind because yeah, for me those were essential, those reviews. Like really, really important. And yeah, you could it was great to see how involved the developer is with their product. Because if there was like no reply or anything like that, it kind of felt abandoned. And I, especially when it comes to a plugin, like you have a plugin they use, and you might not be very familiar with how to get that thing to recompile in a new version of the engine, and then you're stuck. You've done some development that relies on that plugin, and then you move to a new engine version, and you know the nobody that plugin is abandoned, and that's it. uh, you know so I want to to avoid that as much as possible. Exactly. That's spot on, scheme. Spot on. And I'm happy to support developers that make these, because I know they're time consuming, and there's like a lot of um, involvement of resources, for some folks as well. But if you're asking money for something, at least you know have an answer to. It doesn't have to be like too much of an elaborate answer. And I totally get it. Some assets are not. Um, they're like already cheap to begin with, so maybe some are thinking, well, if this is just this, um, why should I answer questions? But you know, it's kind of like people that create tutorials on YouTube, and they don't expect to have questions being asked. Um, like I've been answering to, I think, every single question that I've had on my tutorial videos. I mean, to some, I probably don't know the answer, but, it's kind of just, but at least while I still can, I'm gonna try and help the littlest that I can. So there's always like two sides of the coin, right? It's difficult, um, either way. And right now, I think even with Fab, is just it's kind of growing pains, so to speak, right? It's just really fresh. Things just got started, and I'm sure that um, they're gonna get better. And if they start taking into account, like people's comments and hey, why'd you remove this? Doesn't make sense. I think it's gonna get better and better. All right. Well, this part is getting better and better. Uh, this section here is almost where I wanted it to be. Let's try and oops, that was a little too much. Okay. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Let's see if we can make it a little bit better. So a ramp from here to about here. Okay, slightly better. I'll try and refine it a little more. But that's pretty good. So there's like it seems like the scale of it is pretty good for some cars to drive back here. Um, I might edit these buildings to kind of push them in a little more. But for now, this is pretty good. Let's try and flatten the terrain a little bit lower, just so that we can see these can place these concrete asphalt surfaces a little bit better out here. Oh, these are kind of getting a little too close to each other. They kind of look a little bit too much like the same one. Let's try and switch them around a little bit. And I'll use one of the, oops, what is this thing over here? It's a cart. I'll get to use you too. So we'll try and get a little bit of um, the like a puddle that we used, and we'll also make use of. Actually forgot. Why did I not make use of it since I have it? Oh man, I'm silly. Like this piece here. This is a really nice looking one. And oh my God, like this section here is pretty busy, so it runs pretty poor right now. Um, so this plus some of these. Let's reuse. And I believe this might have been a decal in here. Oh yeah, still I really need to do something with the LODs for these as well. Yeah, there's definitely something in this area that I'm still trying to find it that's like pulling in like a huge amount of draw calls. I can't figure out what, but I'll find it. Hey, unfortunately, I don't speak that language, so English, please. Um, yeah, interesting. Though I'm kind of wondering um, if how much it knows about the current state of Unreal. I'm not sure if it's if it if the model is trained with like newer stuff or not. But that's actually a really good point. Thank you, Scheme. All right, let's see if we can use this over here. Okay, that's starting to fit in. All right, let's take a look at that puddle that I wanted to add in here. Where is it? Material instance. Yeah, so I plan on trying those two options as well. So that's um, we'll see how that goes. Oh, hey, Andre. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm sorry, I can't. I was gonna I was gonna say your name, but I can't read that, so my apologies. Um, yeah, but welcome. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. All right, let's see if we can put like some kind of um oh maybe what did I use there? Was it a decal or which one was it? Um, hmm, well, it might have been a decal. Okay, that looks good there. All right, yeah, I'll use that. And just to kind of help with the transition, I think these might come in handy. Though this one is like a little bit of a off angle here, so let's try and set it a little bit flatter like that. There we go. And then we have these, uh, this kind of rock debris on the side here. And down there, let's see how we can get this one to. All right, there we go. Better than expected. And let me resimulate the trees so that we can hopefully remove some of the stuff over here. Hey Hisham, hey, how you doing? Um, all right, let's see, where was it? Tree, small, procedural foliage volume. All right, let's see how this looks. Another thing that I've been trying to look into is, so right now I'm not using the PCG. I can't remember what that stands for, like procedural something or other. But so I'm still using the procedural foliage volumes. Now, the one thing that I can't figure out, and I haven't spent too much time on it, is on my map, if you look, there's like multiple groups. I'm not sure what you would call these, but there's like this section of instance foliage, then there's like this section here, this section here, this section here. So I'm not sure if they're done this way for H-Lods or what's the reason behind it. I'm not sure why the entire world is not one instance of these. And so I'm wondering if it's going to run better if that was the case. And I'm gonna try and do some investigation on that, see if I can find anything out. All right, so we got this stuff back here. Let's try and use this. Well, yeah, so this is what I meant, like this particular mesh has no LODs, so I need to generate the LODs for that. And now it's kind of hard to find where that decal is. There we go. So we can maybe use it in another location, like for example over here in this little puddle. There we go. That's pretty good. Making an online store with my friend. Resell brands, but I don't want support. Oh yeah, that part I don't know. I mean, no clue what to tell you on that one. You know, every country has its own laws when it comes to transferring money and minors with money and all that. So I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry, Hisham. All right, so I'm guessing you could kind of fit some cars back here. It's not pushing it too much. There we go. And maybe in some sections like where the puddles might have been, or not the puddles, but these potholes, some dirt might have come in there and there's some grass growing, like, areas like this. Hamza, will you release your game on Steam? Yes. And I actually got a Steam page maybe a couple of 2, 3 weeks ago, and I need to get some of the photos on there, just the backstory of the game, and just to make it, a little bit more searchable, so that it's ready for the demo. But thank you so much for the question. All right, let's do a little bit of sculpting out here, just like that. Maybe a little too much. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and I'll share with you guys here and um, on Discord once it's ready. Hey, Julius, welcome, welcome. Rain decays dirt. Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll add some of that. Good point. Let's see, maybe this one, I'll just keep it like that for now. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? You gotta keep doing this, you gotta keep grinding. All right, so let me grab some of these, and I said that I was gonna put them in on this side. Um, I think it could be, you should be able to do it with PayPal. I don't know. Let's see, maybe let's try and change this and just put it kind of at the street level here. Um, where did you find the rock fence? It looks so good. The one next to the house. Oh, so you mean like this one? It's actually just a mega scan. Excuse me. Let's see, how do we wanna put it a little bit further back here? I think that might be cool. Yeah, no problem. I think that one, if you're interested, it is called um, modular something or other, modular stone wall. Awesome. Yeah, so I did for some of them, like foundation like this one would be over here. Um, some of them are hidden by the brick sometimes, when it comes to the foundations, but I totally get what you're saying. It could look like what I was thinking of doing is something like this. Let me see, where is it? Um, whoops, I think this one. So I was thinking of having something like this kind of going along the skirt of the building, especially on the sides. So I think this is what I might, excuse me, this is what I might be using. So let's add that in real quick so we don't forget. Yeah, no, totally, because I have a some of the buildings in the town are like that as well. They have like a little bit of a strip going along the side. So something like this. Yeah, no, I mean, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Because I would have, and again, I keep bringing this up, but this is also one of the reasons for me streaming. Like, um, I it helps me to hear other people, kind of having some ideas about certain things. So it's always good. Um, so the way I group them is, I usually rely on, let's see, where is it? So I usually rely on data layers, like this, because they kind of remove like the folder. I mean, they're good, um, but I kind of like the data layers. I'm not sure why a little bit better because you also have control over them to kind of set them to either be at runtime, be just editor. So I kind of like the setup for this. So for example, right now these are, I think I might have forgotten to, I don't think I've copied them from anywhere. So I don't think they're in a data layer. Oh no, they're actually in multiple data layers. Oh man, I need to be a little bit more careful with this. But so let's see. So this one is in the town zone 3 exterior. So this one should actually be in like a town residential areas data layer where I could like um, kind of manage them that way. Let's see, how do we want to make this one happen here? Did Megascan really improve their assets? I'm not sure. What do you mean by that? I mean, they're still the same assets. I haven't really seen anything, wildly different with them. Did you see anything like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really checked to be totally honest with you. All right, so that's kind of in place at the moment. Let me see if I make where's the scale? Yeah, that didn't really make too much of a change. Let's make this at 1. What the heck is going on with these pieces? It's really weird. Oh, 1 to 1, there we go. Uh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, um, I get they wanted to make this fab thing, but I do feel they kind of, you know, it's definitely in uh early access game, kind of situation. So yeah, they kind of rushed it out the door, I feel like. All right, so I'll spend a little bit more time kind of refining the positioning of that and hopefully getting that to look a little bit better. All right, let's try and kind of fix this ground out here. And I'll use the same thing with this kind of brick foundation with some of these windows and some of these stairs. We'll kind of do something similar over here. Yeah, definitely not. I think one of the things that surprised me was the licensing. So the some some of the things that are on there, due to the changes in licensing, they went from, what was like $100 or so to like $1,000 or so for like, um, like business or like studios and stuff like that, which I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's a lot. Um, so I'm curious to see how it's gonna go. Let me put it this way. So I'm gonna remove these. They're a little too big. Like I've seen some of the creators that have things on the marketplace, um, and luckily the ones that I follow, they haven't really gone too far out. But there's some that now that there's this kind of personal license and then studio license. They more than quadrupled, not quadrupled, I think it went up by 10 times almost for the between like the indie license and the studio license. Which, I mean, yeah, it's your product, you can ask whatever you want for it, but um, I'm not sure. I feel like there's going to be some price gouging going on with this setup, but um, that might be how the industry works nowadays. I don't know. But I was able to export some of my things from Sketchfab, so I'm gonna try and continue doing that because they're probably gonna get lost in the noise. Like there's so much stuff on there now, but they're free. So if once Sketchfab goes away, I am going to, you know, hopefully people are still going to be able to find my stuff on there on Fab and still make some use of it. Um, so hey, Cowardly Knights, welcome, welcome. So I'm actually making a first-person single-player action adventure video game, and it's called On Your Own, just the name of the stream, On Your Own video game. It's not the fact is that I'm also working on it on my own, so hence the name as well. But yeah, I am Romanian. Salut, salut. Welcome. Bine ai venit. Hey, Piyush. Welcome, welcome. I have 1070, like one of those older Gen 1070s. I'm not sure if you can call it an older gen, but I'm not sure how many of them they released. Like if they had like uh, third gen 1070, but it came out since we uh, since it was its inception. Did you solve the memory issue? I solved it in a way that I'm hiding it, but the stats have been decreasing a little bit more. So I think right now, let me see if I enable all screen messages. Um, so it's now this is also with let me see, how many tabs do I have open? So I have 4 windows open and like a dozen, actually more than a dozen tabs open. So that contributes to this video memory has been exhausted. Um, just hiding helpers and reduces that somewhat, so more. But once it's in build game, that never shows. Um, Hey, thank you so much, Piyush. Thank you, thank you. And don't you have issues with Lumen on the 1070? I don't. So this is one thing that let me jump into game mode. I'll show you something that I'm doing if for people that are interested in Lumen. So I'm trying to also give people the opportunity to disable Lumen in my game settings. Excuse me. Or to and right now that thing is bumped up a little bit more, but so let's see kind of an area where you might be able to see the difference between Lumen or not. So I think this could be a good spot here. So in my settings, um, and hopefully the audio is not too loud. So in my settings, let me see, where did I put it? Video. So under my GI, so global illumination options. So I have an option to say only use Lumen for interiors, completely disabled all areas. So if it's only interiors, um, you'll see that the change in whatever's outside. There's like a frame boost as well, and but there is no lumen on the exterior areas. So lumen would only be where I actually place a post-process volume to um, uh, to have lumen enabled. And let me change that back. So, and if I was to set this to disabled, so now it's this one's going to be disabled everywhere. Like interiors, exteriors, Lumen is completely disabled now. Um, the bump is not much, like 4 to 5 frames or something like that. But there is a change in like the visual. So right now, with Lumen enabled, things definitely look better. Um, so Scheme, I had 1070 until recently. I think I could only get 30 frames. So I am getting more than like right now. This is in editor, and I'm getting around 35. Let me see if I kind of close some more of these things. So 37, 38 in this area, and um, down in the town, it's a little bit less just because I still have some optimization to do. There's like a lot of draw calls going on. There's also like this thing with the video memory has been exhausted, and this is again, it happens in editor. Um, Last time I packaged the project, I was playing around in town and it was getting up to over 40. So there's definitely a difference between, when the project is built versus when it's um, when it's, in the editor. Um, so yeah, if new people that have just joined the stream have any more questions on the game, I can give you like a little bit of a synopsis, kind of a quick description on what's a little bit on the story, how the game starts, and what you're gonna do in basically this world here. So this is gonna be like the navigable area here, like this about 2 by 2 kilometers where the story takes place. Oh yeah, thank you, Scheme. And it's all done through CVARs and post-process volumes, right? And that's how I disable it. Uh, yeah, and like I said, right now it's still very poorly optimized, especially like in here. I was mentioning earlier that, this town is all built out of these like, see like how many individual pieces are just in this building, and there's like a ton of these buildings around. Like right now, there is like you can see like this is very poorly optimized right now, and like a huge amount of triangles. So again, still a ways to go to do, right? Hey, Atlantica, thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great weekend as well. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't really. Um, I'm probably I said it wrong. Like I have a lot of assets in here that are not LOD'd. So that's part of the high poly count, and also um, they're not like yet set up as a pack level actor or anything like that. So each one of these pieces are just one draw call, So there's 5 right there in that line. But yeah, I do have some pieces around here like this one that this is like uh, very complex mesh. I think it's like 300,000 triangles with no LODs. Yeah, you kind of combine all these with nanite. I don't know much about nanite since I don't use it. The main reason I don't use it is that it requires like virtual shadow maps, I think it's what it's called, instead of the regular shadow maps. And that's on my rig is at least it takes away the performance quite it takes at least a few more frames to do virtual shadow maps. So I haven't gotten any improvement from nanite, unfortunately. Um, So I don't really know about the LODs and nanite combination. And I know you can optimize the virtual shadow maps, but um, I haven't played with it as much to be able to oh, there's these guys, uh, to get a very good feel for it, you know. So for now, I'm not gonna use nanite to that extent. So I've seen nanite being used, or I mean, I think I might have seen it used in a game, um, but I haven't seen it used, you know, to show what it would be like in a built project, right? So that's kind of my main thing at the moment. Um, I can always switch to nanite, but I'm gonna wait and see, you know, how what it can do, right? At least hopefully somebody is gonna share their share their experience with it. All right, let's get some more of this stuff done in here, guys. We'll get a few of these entrances. I think this should fit in pretty good with this building here. So that's a great question. I've tried, but I'm not entirely sure yet on how they work with. Just gonna delete these. How they work with level instances. I was able to build it, and I'm not sure if I can give you an example. I think it kind of built for some of them, but just like with LODs, especially when you have like these types of buildings, you know, where there's like multiple squares like this, what it resulted in is like a kind of a, if you think about it, an LOD, can't really trigger it in here. I might have deleted them, but it basically, like everything that was a square, it got cut into like a triangle or something like that when it LODs it. Um, if this was one singular mesh, it might have worked better, but I'm still not entirely sure about how it works with the level instances and like level instances like this where it's made out of multiple, you know, kind of a modular type of setup. What I have had success with is pack level actors, and I think somebody else asked, Cowardly Knight. Yeah, you did also. Um, so what I had really good success is with pack level actor, because what it did is turn this into just instance meshes. So it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all these 12 pieces were turned into one draw call. And something I mentioned earlier was I was thinking of like all my town, like break all the level instances apart and create one pack level actor. So since they all use the same modular pieces, I'm hoping that's going to reduce the draw calls drastically. So I'm still um, gonna probably do a commit to my repository and see what how it's going to turn out. Yeah, that's basically what it does. So like for example, you see like all these repeating pieces here. Like there's like how many? One, two, three, four, five, six. Those at the end I think are different. So let's just count the middles. One, two, three, four, five times three. That's like 20 pieces right there. That's going to be one draw call with the once you if you pack this into a pack level actor. So yeah, it in that regard it heavily reduces draw calls. And at least that's my experience, like one of those your mileage may vary, so um, but for me that's how it that's what it resulted in. And that's why I was thinking to do that for like all these pieces, you know, like break them all down into their individual modular pieces and then just create one pack level actor out of all and just seeing how it works. So I haven't so all of these are level instances, right? You know, like they're all just a level instance. But that doesn't really it doesn't really seem to do anything for the draw calls. If that hopefully that makes sense, scheme. Like this particular level, right? These are just individual pieces, and you know they result in a certain number of draw calls. If I was to, go into this level, select everything, and then create a pack level actor, then then the draw calls will drop to however it can create the instances. So far, that's when it comes to optimizing, that's where my best results have been, creating these pack level actors. The HLODs, again, documentation is kind of flaky at that, so it's just looking at example projects. So that's what I'm going to try and look at the city sample. That one seems to have HLODs and also world partition, just like I use world partition. So I'll definitely come back to you guys with something from that because as I approach releasing a demo, I definitely need to be better with the optimization. And I mean that's also part of why I'm still rocking this 1070, just uh, trying to target a lower end system, and if I can get that to work decently on a low end system like a 1070, then hey, it's gonna be fine for modern computers or modern CPUs. It's kind of funny now we calling it 1070 outdated, but it happens. All right, let's see how high do we want to lift this? Maybe to about here-ish. So for example, these pieces here, these would be perfect for a pack level actor. Just these. If you think about it, you know, um, you got one, two, three, four, five. That's going to be one draw call instead of five. And all right, there we go. That one's there. Let's try and kind of flatten this terrain a little bit better here. Where do I want to flatten it to about here? I think that should be good there. Though one thing to keep in mind with and this is something I've noticed is don't go too crazy with like the scaling. I think like rotating and stuff seems to be fine, but when you go, I've seen like in some cases it created an additional uh, instance for the same mesh just because that mesh was rotated at a certain angle. So that's one thing to keep in mind, guys, at least from what I've noticed. It might be, oops, that was a little bit, these are a little bit off. But yeah, just to think about it, something to think about. And kind of be mindful when you do it is kind of scaling, and I try to stay away from like negative scaling unless I absolutely need to. Um, okay, where do I need to place these? About there. And this one to about here. There we go. That's pretty good there. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. I wanted to just smooth this out a little bit over here. All right, and then going on to the side of that. So for example, this tool that I'm using, I'm not sure if uh, to the new people on the stream, I've been using this for quite a while, and it's just a way to instance things. So especially things that are like repeating like this, this one's perfect to instance to create just instances of it, and create fences or just spawn like trash items or other types of things like that. All right, let's see how we can position this a little bit better. Though in this case, I might just, since I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna combine these with that pack level actor. I hmm, just probably gonna use these. All right, and let's try and place it on the grid if we can. That way we can move it a little bit easier. Though I got this funky scale to it, which is not. Let's kind of set this to 2 and 2. There we go. That's pretty good now. Or better. Better than it was. All right, so let's just kind of close this off around the house. And this is hopefully, we'll see how this is going to work out, but it's going to be like a flower bed. And let's grab some of these pieces, some of that. And this one is also, this little vegetation here is also through this scatter tool. So I'm just going to try and set this up to cover this side of the house. And since some of these houses are not going to be enterable, I mean most of them, I can just kind of spawn these inside of the house, well, technically inside of the house, right? So almost there. All right, let's see, maybe do this at 1.5, 1.5. Oops, 1.5 is what I meant. And let's see, scheme, can the scatter tool be used to place single objects more quickly? I've seen a plugin called Dash and it looks really good. So what do you mean by single objects? Like scatter some trash items or oh yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, basically this is how these are placed or how these are placed. So they're on the spline, right? So you can like position it in multiple give it multiple ways to place these, like these ones here. Um, like this fence, for example, is also placed with this tool. So just creating instances of it right away. Was that was that kind of your question, Scheme? Let's see how we can get this one in here. If I want to use this, or maybe we could. Yeah, I think that's going to be good like that. But yeah, for me, it's very useful, especially for, placing vegetation in some locations that, the procedural foliage tool will not be able to spawn things. Like here, or like these flower beds, being able to have them around here. Or, like in this little opening. And again, it's all just um, instance meshes. And you can have a choice to use them as hierarchical instance meshes. I think it might be a little bit more expensive, but um, like for example, having this in this little spot here. Of course, that's exaggerated, an exaggerated amount of instances, but we can tone that down, like kind of like so. Hey, Cursores, yeah. No, not yet. But I am hoping soon-ish to have a demo released. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, so there we go. That's pretty good for that side of the building there. So like an alpha version, that's going to take a little bit longer. Um, I could not give you an exact timeline, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. Mainly because daily life and all that. Um, so I don't want to, you know, how they say it, over promise and under deliver. You promise something and then it's kind of like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna I'm gonna do that. But yeah, hope that that makes sense, and hope you understand. Thank you, thank you. Um, so God, that's a tough one. Well, um, so I can't tell you. So I don't have kids, so I can't tell you anything as far as that, how that would be. Um, I I don't think I would be able to be in this location with my project if I had kids. At least I don't think so. I don't know anybody else, at least in my amongst my friends that has kids and is doing like a long-term project like this. I wish I did so I could ask them, hey, you know what, how you managing it? But um, I can at least talk about, life work balance. And luckily, my work um, is is not the type of work that you spend time at home thinking about. Like once the day ends, the day has ended. I don't after work, I don't take it home, type of so to speak. So I am extremely lucky with that, and I think that's what allows me to do this kind of constantly, and not uh, and still do it. Um, I do get time for myself, definitely. I mean, you guys probably have noticed that over the summer there wasn't that much progress, or it was a little slower. And that's mainly because during winter, I don't do any winter sports, so I become very productive. Um, but during summer, it's I go out with friends, I go hiking, playing some sports and all that, visiting friends. So yeah, the game itself is a huge passion of mine, I am putting into it everything I can and then some, but it's not controlling my life, right? It's not like uh, God forbid, something happens tomorrow and um, we're out of power, like the entire world or something, God forbid, something like that. Um, it's not the end of life, but it's a giant passion of mine. So I can totally see the stats, like game days work super hard. Myself, I am extremely passionate about this, so that's why, outside of work and outside of, these times when I see my friends, when I do go out and all that, I try to spend as much time as I can on this because I literally enjoy doing this more than playing a video game. So, um, you know, like I I only play video games that I've been like waiting for and I've been really dying for them to come out. Like for example, Frostpunk 2 was something that I was really excited about it coming out, and then I'm probably gonna hold off until it comes out on sale because I was hoping for like the Frostpunk of the Frostpunk 1, you know. So that's kind of why I don't really play video games so much, and I mostly, I focus on the project. So yeah, it is totally a huge passion of mine to get this done. Hey, Calm455, welcome. Not sure what you mean, specs. Do you mean like specs of my computer or of what the game will need in the end? Let me know. Okay. Oh yeah, my computer specs. So I have like a 12 Gen i7, 64 gigs of RAM, and 1070. And by the way, I think that was the 64 gigs of RAM is like kind of like the biggest performance increase for me, especially in the editor. Um, so so yeah, that's a really that was a really big boost having the 64 from the 16 I went to 32. And then I'm like, okay, between 32 and 16, there's not that big of a difference. But between 16 and 64, it was a huge difference in the editor. So yeah. Hey, Ryan Ultra, welcome. Let's see, how can we get this section here? What do I want to put on this little slope? Can we try with some of these don't fit in. Hmm. GTA 6 sucks. Um, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I haven't played it yet, so I think that's the problem with everybody. Is like, I don't know anything about when GTA 6 is gonna come out. We're still waiting on that. Yeah. Hey, Mehmet, welcome, welcome. Um, how many years do you have in game development? So I started in 2013. Yeah, around the middle of 2013 is when I started. And I started with CryEngine, spent about 5 years in CryEngine, and then moved over to Unreal. So Unreal, yeah, since the middle of 2018 until now, started from zero. So you gotta think about it that way, like Unreal, I started from nothing. At least I had some concepts from CryEngine, so that was good. But so since then, 6 years, I could say 6 years in Unreal. Yeah. Hey, Talios, welcome, welcome. GTA 6 will set records for the next gen of games. I hope so. I mean, hopefully good records. I don't know yet. I think it's kind of uh, I'm thinking of that whole thing I just mentioned, like over promise and under deliver. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. I guess we'll see when it comes out. If I think it does, it will come out eventually, but I think we'll see then. All right, let's see. Can we get this one in here a little bit? Smooth it out. There we go. That's better. Okay, yeah, I want to paint some grass. There we go. We got a thing going back here, like this back alley and exiting onto the street. That's good. Um, yeah, I totally get what you're saying, Chrysaorus. But there's also, it highly depends on the game. Because there's been some games that I've been kind of looking forward to some time ago, and they've been out of, small independent indie developers, and yeah, they didn't disappoint. So I totally get what you're saying. It's but there's also like the tools that we have nowadays have gotten much more powerful, and it it kind of makes it simpler for people like myself to to work on something like this. So yeah, it's definitely gonna get harder for sure. But I wouldn't don't despair. It's still uh, uh, it's still good. And I've played some AAA games, like well, like if you think about it, like the label of AAA games, um, that did not feel like necessarily like a AAA game. So, it's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be a AAA company, like say Ubisoft that can make a great game. I've played like games from like small developers that are just as good, and it's I think if the game itself, you kind of make a connection to the game, and um, the gameplay is interesting and all that. I think a lot of people just don't really are not going to care so much of, oh, AAA graphics and like animation, AAA animation and all that. But that's just, that's me. Everybody else's opinion might differ, but I feel like there's room for everybody. Definitely, they're gonna set some standards, like the AAA companies, like the big companies that have, hundreds, thousands of people of working on a project like this. Yeah, this they're gonna definitely set a different standard. But I think in the end, people can. Uh, I think there's like room for everybody in this, and especially with how much time it goes into some of these AAA games. Yeah, there could be like, you know, 10 indie games that can come out during that period. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where are you going? Easier. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna try and finish this little section here, and then that might be it for me for today. We'll definitely continue this tomorrow, um, and try and get this section closer to done. But but yeah, I think we got some pretty good stuff done today. I'm really happy with this progress, and I really appreciate everybody stopping by. That was good to see so many new faces, so many new uh, people in the chat. But yeah, oops. Let's see. Can we get this one on here? Ramp. It's a little bit better. All right, let's get this last little bit here, I think. Okay, well, still need some refinement, but we'll continue some of this tomorrow. Same time, hopefully that works for everybody. I try to make it kind of as much middle of the day for myself, so maybe, Eastern Europe, Asia, Western US might be able to join. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully that was something interesting to see, to chat about, and glad to have folks in the chat. And yeah, have a great rest of your Saturday, Sunday morning, whichever might be. And I hope to see you tomorrow. All right. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you soon. All right. Bye, Ryan. Bye, Chrysaorus. Bye, Talios. Screen Apple. Bye. See you soon.